Okay. Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome back to the Gabby Hour. I'm your host, Gabby Giselle. And on today's podcast episode, girl, we are going to be spilling some tea, okay? The other day, I don't remember who it was, but somebody was asking me if I've ever been taken advantage of by a job. And boy, do I have a story to tell you. And honestly, when she asked me, it was my friend Ruby. Shout out Ruby. She asked me that, and I was like, I don't think so. I mean, I've been my own boss for the last 5 years, basically. And before that, I had two or three actual paycheck jobs, and then before that, cash and just kind of odd jobs, things like that when you're a kid that you get paid for, random shit. But then I was like, hold on. And I just kept kind of babbling about this, and I was like, oh, I 100% have been taken advantage of by a job. And we're going to talk about that today. But first, I want to say hi, hello. If you guys are new here, make sure you guys are subscribed. We upload new podcast episodes every single Monday, sometimes Tuesday, because I'm not going to lie, life do be lifing. But I also do have a vlog channel where I post reading vlogs, lifestyle stuff. So go check that out. Follow me on TikTok at Gabby Giselle. Follow the podcast TikTok at The Gabby Hour. We also have Instagram at The Gabby Hour. Everything will be linked down below. But yeah, we basically just yap about whatever every single week. Sometimes I tell stories like this week. Sometimes I do commentary about different topics that I'm interested in. So there's that. Now, I wanted to give you guys a little life update and kind of tell you guys what happened this weekend. So this weekend I had book club, which I have book club about twice a month, but this book club was kind of put off for multiple weeks because we had one of our members was traveling, the other one just the scheduling didn't allow for us to do book club until the 16th of November, which our last book club I think might have been way before Halloween. So it'd been 3 weeks since we met. And I'm not gonna lie, I was feeling a little bit excited to see my girly friends because this book club was going to be for one of our members' birthday, and we were going to do brunch and then go to the beach after and just overall have a really fun time together. So I was super excited. And I just want to say, if you're into reading or anything, start a club. I'm fully 24 years old, and if you had told 17-year-old me that I'd be running a book club, I would be like, no, that's so weird. What are we, 12? But honestly, it has been so cool to meet people with similar interests and to just sort of be around really awesome women who are fun to be around, kind, and just in general are really, really sweet and good company. So like I said, we went to brunch. I want to tell you, we went to this place called Taza, and I am gonna shit on them. I'm sorry because the owner of this cafe, I believe, also if you guys can hear barking in the background, that's my neighbor's dog. She left him back there. I don't know when the fuck she's coming back, but it is really annoying. So sorry. He's fine. I think he has water and stuff. It's not daytime or anything like that, but if you can hear it, I don't know if the microphone's picking it up because it's kind of loud. Just ignore it. Okay, I'm gonna try to, but it's gonna piss me off, and it's not my dog, so I'm not gonna yell at him. But just know if my dog was doing that shit, I would lose my fucking marbles. Thanks. Me, why are you barking? You're a dog. As if that's not what dogs are supposed to do. But we have a dog, actually our dog Benny, shout out Benny, we're gonna put a picture of him right here because we love him. He is the best. He does not bark. Truly, the only times I've ever heard him bark is 4 times in the entire 2 years that Jake and I have been together. And most of those times are when I'm home alone and somebody who we don't know comes to the door, usually. Or he's barked at the cats for bothering him and stuff before, which is really funny. But other than that, he did not be barking. So shout out Benny because he's quiet. He's a chill dog. But yeah, so basically we went to brunch to this place called Taza, which sounded like a really cute vibe. Their Instagram is really well done because I think it's owned by the family of this kid who does social media marketing, food review stuff here locally. And I really thought about leaving a review, but as a small business owner, like, I just don't want to be doing this. I don't want to shit on a small business. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, but I feel like somebody needs to tell them. Like, I don't know if they know, but their food is ass. It's really ass. And it has great presentation. It's a very small restaurant, but they've done such a good job with the space. Like, it's a very cute space. Our server was nice. And it's like an Argentinian style, like, brunch coffee place. And it's not in like the best area of town. It's not in like a really nice plaza or anything. But they have done a really good job with the inside of the business. And the outside, they have a really cute like outdoor seating area. Just overall, like, have done a good job with the business. But their food, sorry, you missed me there. Okay, because I would rather eat at a place with really horrible, shitty presentation that tastes amazing rather than a place that hypes themselves up and charges prices that are like bougie style prices. Like, it wasn't super expensive, but we'll get into that in a second. But I ended up paying like way too much because we'll get into it. But I ordered like literally like a classic sunny side egg with bacon and like a pancake, and they do like thick ass pancakes, like that's literally what they're called on the menu. And I also ordered an horchata coffee, which didn't taste like horchata, I'm not gonna lie. It just tasted like coffee with milk, not even sugar in there. I had to put sugar. I don't know what was in there, but it wasn't good. And nobody really liked their drinks. Everybody liked like their 3 people at the table got like espresso shots, and they were like, yeah, the espresso's pretty good, which is great. But I did not like my coffee, and somebody else got like a matcha latte. Another person, 2 people got matcha, they didn't like it. And then me and somebody else got like a latte vibe, like an horchata latte, and it just like wasn't that good. Okay, so like off rip the drink, nice presentation. It's in like one of those TJ Maxx like boho style glasses. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, cute vibe. The espresso shot cups were like super cutesy with little spoons. I do love a little spoon, but I just didn't like it. It just was underwhelming, I feel like. And then we got our food, and me and my friend Felicia sitting next to me ordered the same thing. Okay, we ordered the classic breakfast, but she got her eggs scrambled and her bacon normal and no cheese on her potatoes. I got my eggs sunny side up, crispy bacon with cheesy potatoes, right? So I'm excited because it said queso. So I'm thinking it's like Mexican queso, it's like Argentinian queso, it's like Latin queso. It's going to be delicious. Tell me why these motherfuckers bring out the plate. First of all, they brought out the plates completely mismatched, okay? I had sunny side eggs, sunny side eggs, no cheese on my potatoes, and then really crispy bacon. So my eggs and my bacon were mine, but my potatoes were not mine. No. Our bacon was switched, actually. So I had my eggs, not my bacon, and not my potatoes, okay? And she had her eggs, not her bacon, and not her potatoes. So they like double whammied, messed the fuck up. So we literally just like swapped potatoes, and then like I grabbed her bacon and she grabbed mine. Like, I wanted really crispy bacon and she just wanted regular bacon. So that was kind of annoying. My friend Luce, whose literal birthday that it was, okay, mind you, and they didn't know that it was her birthday or anything, but still, like, does it have to be somebody's birthday for you to get their order right? Kind of annoying. But she asked for her burger with no avocado because she's literally allergic. Literally will die. So apparently they just didn't give a fuck, and they put it on there anyways. And then we waited so long for her food that by the time she got her food, we were all done with ours. Swear to God. Like, everybody had already finished everything on their plate, or actually nobody finished everything on their plate because it just wasn't that good. And it was wrong, and it took forever to get her plate. And on top of that, my eggs and my bacon and my potatoes were cold. The cheese on the potatoes was literally like Velveeta, like thick ass yellow cheese. It just was just gross. And then also like the potatoes, mind you, my boyfriend runs a breakfast restaurant. I know what day old potatoes look like and what they taste like. And they taste dry and like they taste gross. There's no flavor to them. There's no flavor. It just tastes like dry potato. and it's not a good time. And that's exactly what those potatoes were. And mind you, we were not there at like open. We were there at like 11:30. Okay? 11:30, and it was just not good. Okay? And then everybody else's plates also were cold, by the way. Everybody's food was cold. And I'm just saying, as a restaurant, if you can't bring out everybody's plates at the same time because you don't have a heat lamp, then just don't bring them out at the same time. Bring them out at differing times, or time it in a way that they come out at the same time. Nobody got anything super extravagant or difficult to make. I mean, I think like the burger was literally just like burger meat. It was just a burger, like I don't know, with an egg on it. And by the way, the egg was cold. Like, no part of that breakfast was really good. And then, okay, and this is kind of our fault for not reading, but when we were cashing out, the lady comes over, and she was like, I could tell she was trying to get us out of there because we were sitting there for a long time after we'd sort of stopped touching our food because it wasn't good. And we were all sitting there eating, and she comes up and wants to take payment, and I was like, great, like totally cool. And I'm like, hey, I'm gonna pay for my friend Luce's breakfast because it's her birthday. She's not paying for her own breakfast, girl. What? So she was like, oh, okay, cool. So I'm cashing out, and it comes up to the tip screen. All right, I'm going to give you whatever. I'm looking at the screen. It's $76. $76 hairs for two people to eat breakfast. I'm like, okay, like it's kind of a bougie spot, like whatever. So I go to put in her tip. I press the tip, and then she goes, oh, the tip's already included. What? And I was like, well, okay, but I already just pressed it. Like, I can't go back. I just spent like 80 something dollars on breakfast for two people for shitty breakfast that was cold and not good. And I'm annoyed about it. Right. And so she like walks away and goes to cash out the other people on the other side of the table. And I see everybody cashing out. And I thought that everybody had heard that interaction, but apparently they didn't. And so she goes around and she cashes everybody out. And then I'm looking at my friend Danielle, and she clicks 20%. And I'm like, did she not tell them also? Did they not hear that interaction where she told me that they already included the tip? I'm like, bitch, I already tipped this girl like $40. What? Like, what are we doing? So then I was like, all right. I said, guys, there was already a tip included. And they were like, what? And I'm like, yeah, you didn't hear when she told me? They're like, no. And I'm like, damn, so everybody at this table tipped her 20%, 40%, because everybody's a good tipper at this table. So everybody tipped this woman 40%. What? Are you joking? So, yeah, that was kind of annoying. And then my friend Luce was like, oh, like, I didn't see that you guys didn't read it. It's at the bottom of the menu. And I look at the menu, and of course, like tiny at the bottom, it says like all parties 5 or more will have an instant gratuity of 20%, which I don't mind if a restaurant does that. But at the same time, our server came over to the table. Our order was wrong, but 3 orders were wrong. Then the fix of the order, the one order that we had them fix, came back after we'd already finished eating. And then on top of that, all of the food was cold and didn't taste good. And I paid you 40% gratuity. And like, our server came over twice the entire time. And 3 times. And 2 of those times were to come and ask us if we needed anything else because we were obviously done, but we were still talking. Because we're having book club, lady. And yeah, that was kind of shitty. But then after that, we went to the beach and we did mushrooms, and we had the best fucking day. It was so amazing. And I just want to say, after that, we went to writers group because we all go to like the same writers group too. Not all of us, but most of us, the ones that had gone to the beach. And so at writers group, I was like journaling because we normally do like a free write, which I normally just journal at the beginning. And we were doing this like journaling, and I was just like talking about my day, and I was like, it was such a good day at the beach, like blah blah. I'm like coming down from my mushrooms, and I was just kind of like sitting there, and I was like, this is such a good day because I think since I was younger, there was always like this big pressure on girls, especially once we started to get in like middle school, high school age, that like we needed to have like boyfriends and men and this, that, and the other, and like male attention and male validation. And honestly, I just never gave a single fuck about that. And even when I did, it was very like few and far between. I never was like super boy crazy. There was like one boy that I was obsessed with in high school, and that was like psychotic of me. Because respectfully, he looked like Alvin the Chipmunk. Yeah. So, not even Simon. I mean, Simon is cute. You know what I'm saying? A little nerdy guy. No. Gabby, shut up. But yeah, like I never really cared about men. But something that always bothered me was that I didn't have like a group of girly friends. And I did a podcast episode on this a couple weeks ago. And I just feel like we were at the beach and I was literally like crying because I was just so emotional. And when I was sitting there journaling, I was like, this is like what I've wanted forever. Because I always saw like people have the same friend group for like their whole life. And I'm like, how do you have those friends? Like, where do you get those people? Like, I was always a part of a friend group, but I was almost always like, I always like either fucked it up because I'm a piece of shit, but like I would do something and we would stop being friends, or like they would just fizzle out. Like I never had like a running group of friendship. I never had like a group of people that I even felt connected to in that way. Like I had best friends growing up, but the minute there was like some drama or somebody pissed somebody off, it was just over, right? And I felt like even when I had friendships that weren't like drama or anything, I still wasn't like fully connecting to them, at least not in like a group setting. Do you know what I'm saying? There's always one person in the group that I attached to, and then everybody else was just kind of like extras. But to have like a group of women that were around me and uplifting me was something that I didn't even realize that I always sort of wanted. So I was just kind of like, man, finally having this group of women, right, that we would have never crossed paths. Like, I need you to know, okay, just based on age, I'm the youngest person in the group. I'm 24. Ani just joined. She's 27, I believe, or 26, something like that. Luce turned 32. That was her birthday. Sarah, I believe, is like 25. 20, I believe Sarah's like 25, 26. Felicia's 51. Okay. And then Danielle is like 40 something. Okay. So very different people, and we all sort of do different things with our lives. Like, we're not all involved, but we all got together for our love of reading, and I find that so beautiful and so fun, and I'm like so grateful to have them. And I was just like so happy and sappy about the fact that like this is what I've been wanting my whole life, because I never like craved men or like romance. You know, we all do in a sense, but never in the way that other people really put it at the forefront of their mind. Like, I've never had a problem with being single. I never felt left out because I was single. I never was like so upset because I didn't have a boyfriend. Like, it just wasn't that important to me. But I always had this like sense of jealousy for groups of people that had like the same four girls. Like, these same four girls that were like best friends and they do everything together. Like, that was always what I sort of craved. And I felt so grateful to just have that. And we had the best day. Like, it was such a good day at the beach. I was standing there in my bikini kind of just vibing. Like, I didn't feel insecure. I didn't feel weird. I didn't feel uncomfortable. I wasn't paying attention to my body at all. We were talking and laughing and telling stories and talking shit. Like, it was just such a good day. And I really, really, really was super grateful for them, and just shout out them. I love them so much. It was just so nice to have that, and to just kind of like look around at these groups of women who like there's nothing conventional about our relationship. Like, nothing makes sense as to why we're all friends. Like, we all have different career paths, different interests, different like we're all different, just an amalgamation of women, but we really love reading and we love books and we love talking about them, and we have very similar views on life. We love and respect one another, and I just really, really am so grateful for them. So shout out them, because I had the best day, and it was like much needed, very much needed. But then Monday I was feeling like shit. Okay, I had a headache, a migraine all day long, and I don't know if it was just like the shrooms, because I feel like the last time I did those, nothing happened to me. I just felt like it was weird. Maybe it was the sun. I don't know. But I had a really bad migraine on Monday. Anyways, let's get into the topic of today's video, podcast episode, if you will, which is going to be first jobs. Okay. So my first job I got at a deli. And this deli is like a franchise chain, so I won't name it. But I still eat there, so just saying. Is everything frozen and in bags? Yeah, but I like it, and it's good. It tastes yummy. So I don't have like 100% total beef with this place, obviously, because I still eat there. But I got a job there. My sister worked there, and I had my brother also worked there very briefly, by the way, very briefly. And I knew, like, I grew up going to this restaurant like every single Sunday after church. Like, we would go there almost every single Sunday. We were there multiple times a week sometimes. Like, I grew up going to this restaurant, and so a lot of the managers had known me for a long time. And so when it got time for me to like get a job, I was like, oh, I'll get a job here. Like, this was my sister's first job. Like, this will be my first job. Like, they already know me. I had talked to the general manager about it, and he was like, yeah, like, put in an application. And I got the job, of course. And very quickly I sort of like advanced, because I was just really good at my job, I guess. And so by like 2 or 3 months into working here, I was like running the entire front counter by myself. I had recruited like 3 of my friends to work there. I was just doing really, really well. And when I first started working there, though, I remember like my first week, I had worked like a Saturday for the first time. And the day before, or like 2 nights before that, I was training with this girl, and her boyfriend was a delivery driver. We'll call him Max. And Max fucking hated me, okay? For no reason. For literally no reason. I hated Max. He was a piece of shit. He literally got upset because she was training me on how to do side work. So we're doing side work. It's like towards the end of the night. There's only a couple customers left. We close in like 20 minutes. And she's showing me around, whatever, and they call for like a runner to run the food. And now normally there's a runner there, but by this time of night they're normally gone. So the people behind the bar run the food, or the delivery drivers that are not doing much run the food, or us behind the counter, we will run the food. Now she's training me, so we're like in the middle of doing something, but we're standing there at the end and they're calling for a runner, and she's like, I'm not doing it. She calls for her boyfriend. She's like, Max, like, come do this. And he's like, you do it. And she's like, no. And I'm just kind of standing there like, okay. And then as we're like finishing up, I clock out or whatever. I'm not like fully closing, but she teaches me like all of like the little side works to do. And her best friend worked there also. And I'm like standing there leaving, kind of like talking to her, and we're just like chatting about how my shift went and whatever. And she's like, oh, like, did Max get mad at you, like, blah blah, like, just ignore him, like, he's kind of a bitch, like this, that, and the other. And I just kind of like giggled, because I was like, haha, like, lol. And then a couple days later, I go into work on a Saturday, and I'm like doing like my opening stuff. I'm like, all right, cool. And I'm in the back, and I'm filling up some cups of like probably ranch. I don't know what I was doing. And my general manager comes up to me with another manager, and he's like, hey, like, can I talk to you really quick? I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. And he's like, he brings Max over with him. He grabs him from the front, and he's like, what is this I heard about you calling Max a bitch? And I was like, I didn't. And he was like, well, you know, he said that you didn't want to run the food last night. You didn't want to like listen to him. And then like you called him a bitch. And I was like, I didn't. I was with, let's say her name. I don't even remember her name. So we'll just call her like Sarah. So I was like, Sarah was training me, and we were doing side work, and he wanted us to run the food, and she told him no. And so then he looks at Max, and he's like, is that true? And he's like, yeah, but then I told them that she could run the food. and she just kind of stood there and didn't want to do it. And I was just kind of like, girl, she told me not to, so I was going to listen to what she said. And I was like, and I did not call him a bitch. Like, I didn't do that. Her friend called him a bitch in front of me. Like, and they're all friends, so I didn't even think anything of it. And my manager, Joe, was just like, okay, well, you know, we work as a team here. Like, I don't want this to be a problem. Like, blah, blah, blah. I was like, I don't have a fucking problem. Like, I didn't even know his name until, like, they had just been like, hey, Max, come over here. And I was like, oh, that's his name. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I just started working here. You think I'm calling people a bitch, like, my third day training? Like, what? I was just, like, annoyed. And after that, Max had it fucking out for me. And you know what? By the time I, like, started working and running the whole counter, one of my jobs was routing deliveries. And I didn't route his deliveries to make his life harder. I routed them to make sense with the time that the order needed to be delivered, for one. And I routed them with making sense with just like geographically making sense, okay? But sometimes the time that the order needs to be delivered is more important than geographically it making sense. And he would come over and argue with me all the fucking time. He'd be like, no, I'm not taking this one right now. I'm taking this one because it's closer and it makes more sense. And I'm like, yeah, but this one was placed 30 minutes ago. It needs to go out now. And he's like, I'm not doing that, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And then a customer would call to complain that the routing was fucking wrong. Well, they wouldn't complain that. They complained that they've been waiting so long for their food, or that their food arrived cold, and I would get my ass ripped into me, and I'd be like, hey, this was the original route, and fucking Max didn't want to do it. And they'd be like, what the hell? So then it was like, they'd go to Max and they'd be like, what? And he'd be like, no, like, I just went the way that makes the most sense, like, blah, blah, blah. She doesn't know what she's talking about. And it was just like a back and forth. I just kept being told that, like, they didn't want it to be a problem, and they didn't want me to be, like, having issues. Like, I was like, I don't have a fucking issue. I'm doing my job. So then a couple months go by. I get all my fucking friends hired there, okay? And he would just give me attitude, bitching at me, disagreeing with me for every little thing, not wanting to do what I asked him to do. And, like, I'm in front of the front counter. Hey, guess what? The deliveries come through the front counter. So I'm in charge of those too, bitch. And so I don't know if he just didn't want to take fucking shit from a 16-year-old, but sorry, I'm good at my fucking job and I got promoted and you didn't. And you're still a fucking shitty ass delivery driver, bitch. After a while, though, he quit. Right? He quit a couple months into me working there, and he went to go work for an insurance place. And when he quit, he made a comment to me, and he was like, yeah, you're probably going to work here till you're, like, old. And I was like, no. And he was like, that's why I'm leaving, because, like, I don't want to have a dead-end job like this. Bitch, I'm 16. You're 23. You're the one with a dead-end job. This is a 16-year-old's job. What do you mean? And so I was just so annoyed. And I was like, whatever. Guess what? Motherfucker came crawling back for his job 5 months later. And when he came back, I was like, oh, how'd that insurance thing go? Oh, funny. After that, oh, gloves are off. Max fucking hated me. Okay? So in these, like, 5 months, right, I'm getting so good at my job. I'm working doubles. I'm working fucking triples, bitch. I'm working day in, day out, over 40 hours a week as a minor. Okay? And I was signing this. They would come up to me every 2 weeks before pay period, right? And they would give me this paper and they'd be like, sign here, sign here, sign here, sign here. And they would be like adjusting my hours. And they'd be like, yeah, we're just like signing off on your hours. What they were doing was adjusting my hours, even though I was there late night, multiple days in a row for catering orders, for just bullshit that wasn't even my fucking job. And I would be there late, and they were adjusting my hours so that they weren't like, so that they would be abiding by the law on paper. Okay? Not only that, okay? Not only fucking that. My general manager, Joe, had also retired at some point. Okay? And I had this another fucking manager named Sage. Bitch, hated him. Fucking hated this guy. He was so condescending, so fucking disrespectful, rude. He would look down on everybody else. He thought he was the coolest fucking bitch in there. And guess what? You're fucking not. You're not. So, hey. Well, basically, like 2 months into Sage being the fucking manager, it was like July. And the 4th of July had come around, and I had walked outside on the night of the 4th of July to watch fireworks, and there was glass on the ground. So I got fucking glass all in the bottom of my foot, scratched it all up. My foot is literally bleeding. I had to take tweezers to my foot to get out all the fucking glass, and it fucking hurt. And I had to work the next morning. So I called my job in the morning time, super early. And actually, no, I texted and called late night, and nobody answered me. And it wasn't even late. It was like fucking 9:30. Nobody answered me. I'm trying to find cover. I called them again in the morning, and I didn't have to go in like first thing. So I called them at like 7 in the morning. Most of the managers don't get there till like 8:30, but I like called my manager personally. And he was like, well, did you find somebody to cover you? And I was like, no, but I literally can't walk. And he was like, yeah, I don't know. You're going to have to find somebody to cover you because we can't just like not have a morning person. And I was like, what? Like, okay. And I didn't want to get fired from my job because I needed money to buy a car. I really wanted money to buy a car. So I was like, okay, whatever. So I'm calling around. I'm texting everybody. Nobody will cover me, by the way. And I covered all of these bitches all the fucking time. That's why they were adjusting my hours. I wasn't even getting paid to cover these bitches. Hate that shit. And he was like, they called me again at like 9, right? We opened at like 9:30 or something at that time. And they called me again, and they're like, hey, did you find somebody to cover you? I'm like, no, because nobody wants to cover me, but I literally am limping. Like, I can barely walk. And they're like, yeah, I don't know what you're going to do. Like, you're going to have to come in. What? I'm going to have to come in to my bitch ass job where I'm making $9 an hour to walk on my foot that I have fucking glass in. What? You work. What? I was so upset. I go into work, right? I'm limping the entire day. It's a Sunday, okay? It was busy. We're busy weekend mornings, okay? Super fucking busy. I'm limping around everywhere. They're having me run around bus tables and shit because they can't fucking hire a competent bus boy. And so I'm like bussing tables. I'm running the fucking front counter. I'm doing catering orders. I'm doing delivery orders. I'm packing to-go orders. I'm doing fucking everything with my foot glass in it, okay? Mind you, like, he wanted me to send proof of my foot. I didn't, but I was like, what? So I went into work limping all fucking day long around like 2 o'clock. Mind you, my shift was probably like 11 to 4. Okay. At like 2:30, 3 o'clock, we're slowing down. Somebody calls in sick. They're like, hey, can you work the morning or the nighttime? What? They're like, yeah, can you work the nighttime? Like, so-and-so called off, and like, we can't find anybody else to work. Like, we really need you. Like, you can't let us down right now. Bro, I have glass in my foot. They're like, we'll let you take an hour break, and then you can come back. And I really wanted money, so I was like, okay. So I go, I take my hour-long break. I literally took my hour-long break there. Like, I lived 5 minutes away, but I was like, you know what? I'm just going to sit here and do whatever. I went to the bathroom, changed my fucking bandage, came back, and I'm still limping. I limped for like a week after that. I had glass in the bottom of my foot, dude. Like, what? Anyways, so I end up working the nighttime, and of course, I ended up basically closing. So I worked open to close with glass in my foot because my manager wouldn't let me call off. And then I had to work till close because somebody called off. What? I was so pissed. So then it's not even like I was out drinking or something. Like, it was I'm 16. I don't drink. Anyways, so then another thing that happened was a couple months later, my manager comes to me and he's like, hey, I know you've been working a lot, but I think that like you can get more hours if you get this form signed. It's like a hardships form. It just basically will allow you to work 6 hours without a break. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, why would I do that? Like, I want a break if I'm working 6 hours. Like, I want a break. He's like, well, you know, like, it would just help you get more hours. We'd be able to, like, schedule you more. I'm like, I'm already working so many hours. I was literally, like, coming home from school at 1:30, like, 2 o'clock, and then eating, and then going to work at 4:30 and being there until, like, 10:30 at night. every single day of the week and then working weekend mornings. Like, I was busting my ass for this job. He's like, yeah, it'll let us like give you more hours and then we'll probably be able to pay you more. Sorry, more money? So I was like, I don't know, like blah, blah. And he prints it out and he's like, here, like just get your mom to sign it and like get your guidance counselor to sign it. It's super easy. Like it'll let us give you more hours. And I was like, okay. So then I go home that night. I take my paper. I look up the word hardships. I was like, what does this mean? Like, what does this form mean? And it basically means that I need to help pay bills in my house. So I need to work. So that is why I'm allowed to work 6 hours without a break. Sorry, what? Sorry, what? You want me to sign a paper that says I am at the poverty line. So I need to work at 16 years old, 6 hours without a break. No. So I didn't get it signed. He came back like a week later and was like, oh, did you get that form signed? I was like, no. He's like, oh, why not? And I was like, because I'm not signing it. And he was like, why? And I was like, because I don't need to help pay bills in my house. He's like, yeah, but you could get more hours and then we'll be able to pay you more. And I was like, I don't care. And he was just like so salty with me. He did not talk to me for like a week after that. Okay. Now, this is when Johnny comes back. Johnny comes back to work. I'm sitting there. And then there was also like this other delivery driver. Ooh, I just used his real name. I don't give a fuck. Johnny. Okay. Johnny comes back to work. And there was this other dude who worked there. I don't remember his name. I don't know. We'll just name him like Mark or something. Mark and Johnny were besties. Okay. Not really, but like work besties. And except Mark like always tried to holler at everybody, every new girl that worked there. Mind you, he was like 20 something and like we were all in high school and that's kind of gross, but I digress. And there was this one point where this girl was working there and she was working like above me. She was like the morning person who did my job, but she'd been working there for a long time. And so she was like really well paid and like really high up there. And they all hated her though, because she was kind of a bitch because she wouldn't let them like horse around or do fuck shit. Like she would make them do everything right. And so they hated her. So they talk all this shit about her. And like, I didn't really like her either because she was kind of mean. But then once she realized that I'm good at my job, she was like nicer to me because I'm good at my job. And so I was kind of like, y'all need to stop talking shit about homegirl because that's my homegirl, you know? And I don't remember what her name was either. I don't fucking know. These people are so irrelevant. But basically one day they came in on my shift and it was like a really slow day, I remember. And so these two delivery driver dudes are like sitting there talking to me. And my manager, mind you, this bitch ass manager, I'm sorry, big ass ball spot, does nothing but sit in the fucking office, does not ever help anybody, just comes up, touches his fucking hands together and then walks back to the office. That's literally all he does. And he's sitting there like right in front of the register, right? And they're sitting here talking all this shit and they're like, yeah, because so-and-so is fucking Sage and that's why she's like allowed to call off and allowed to do all this shit and yada, yada, yada. And I was just kind of like, y'all are wild for that. And I went back to work because I was like, first of all, my manager's right there so he can hear you. And that manager was sitting there eating a hot dog, dipping it in a tomato basil soup. What? Ew. And he would do this often, by the way. And so I was just kind of like, y'all are wild for that. And I walked away and like was just doing my fucking job. And a while after that, I quit, right? I quit my job. When I quit my job, my manager pulled me off of the line. Mind you, the line for the customers was wrapped around the fucking building, out the door. I have two girls that are like barely knowing what they're doing at their job. Like they're just now finishing training. They still have tons of questions to ask me all the time. Like I cannot just leave them. Okay. He pulls both of them off the register. A line wrapped around the building, goes, can you guys handle it for like 5 minutes while I talk to Gabby? And they're like, what are they going to tell their boss? No. Like, of course they're going to say yes. So then they're like, yeah, sure. I guess, like, if that's what you're asking of me, I guess I will handle it. And so I get pulled off the fucking cash register. He sits me down in a booth and tries to convince me for, I'm not joking, 30 minutes while this line is still out the door to not quit my job. He offers me at the time I was making like $9.75 an hour. He offers me $10 an hour. He's like, please, you know, like, I think you could really do well here. Like, you could move up. You could become a manager eventually. Like, why would you quit your job? This, that, and the other. And I was like, no, you know, I'm moving and like I really want to focus on school, and I'm taking so much time to like work rather than doing like my schoolwork, and my school is suffering for that. Like my grades are suffering. So no, like I'm not, like I'm gonna quit. I tried to hit my 2 weeks, and he was just like, no, and walked away, mind you. So now we're having this fucking 30-minute long conversation. You're offering me 25 cents an hour extra to work like a dog for somebody who doesn't let me call off and like guilt trips me into not calling off, and then constantly asks me to cover for other people, asks me to work with glass in my foot, limping all day long, asks me to work doubles constantly, adjusts my hours to make them less than what I'm actually working because you don't want to get in trouble legally, and I'm supposed to say yes to that. So I stood firm. I was like, no, I quit, sorry. He was like, come on, you know, like blah blah blah, are we really gonna miss you? I was like, no, sorry, I don't want to work here anymore. And he was just like, okay, but you know, if you change your mind. And I was like, I'm not. So after I put my 2 weeks in, it's been like a month. I think we're at like my winter dance for high school, right? Mind you, Johnny was fucking like 23. Nah, we'll give him benefit of the doubt. He might have been like 21, 22. Okay, he's grown though. His girlfriend, high school, senior. Okay, and so we went to different schools though. And her best friend though shows up at my high school winter dance because she's also a senior. She shows up there and she's like, oh my God, hi, like, blah, blah, blah. And I always kind of liked her because she was kind of a bitch. And so I was like, hey girl, like, what's up, blah, blah. And she's like, oh my God, like, you won't ever believe, you know, what happened, like this, that, and the other. So-and-so quit. But before she quit, and like before you quit, you were going to get in trouble because the boys had told Sage that you made up a rumor that she was fucking Sage, and that's why she was like the favorite and allowed to like call off and do whatever she wanted. Huh? Literally me, the cat meme. Huh? Literally what? And I was like, no. They were the ones that said that, and they said it in front of our manager. And she was like, yeah, I don't know, like, they're really fucking annoying, like, this, that, and the other. She's like, yeah, like, good for you that you don't work there anymore, honestly. And I was like, period, queen. What? I had been gone from that job, like, 2 months at this point, okay? I worked there for, like, less than a year because I just hated it so much. And I was like, how the fuck, like, what? And they're grown-ass men. Like, you're so grown. I'm 16 years old. Anyways. So, yeah, that was my first job. And I fucking hated them. And I hate them. But I still eat there. And that manager that was a bitch to me. Yeah, fucking Sage. Ho. Gone. I think he got fired. Probably for being a fuckhead. Probably for being bad at his job. Lame as hell. How does it feel to have your career since you were 17 years old working at this fucking deli just down the fucking drain because you're a bitch. Period. So yeah. Other than that, there was this manager there, and he's the general manager at the one like near where I live now, and so I see him all the time when I go in there. So shout out David, because I love that man. That man was like a father figure for me at work. Like, he was my work dad. And I love him. He was always in such a good mood. He was always so fun to work with, and like he trusted us to like do our job. And he didn't hover, didn't micromanage us, was just very like fun to work with. And you can tell that like all the people who work there now like to work there with him because he's so good at his job. And guess what? Mr. Baldpatch Man still works there, still not the fucking general manager. He's still the assistant general manager. Period. But yeah, I really liked, I really forgot that all those things had happened to me in my first job. But hey, who am I, you know? I do have a yum this week. I don't really have a yuck, but my yum this week, okay, is the brain rot memes where they are they're like stitching Charlie Kirk's face onto the most random fucking videos. I saw one today of Bryce Hall and like that other Hype House dude doing like a dance with Charlie Kirk's face on it. The one video of this rapper that's like talking or whatever, and it has Charlie Kirk's face on it. Today I saw one where this guy got Charlie Kirk's face on like a GTA model in a bathing suit on his leg, tattooed, which is crazy, by the way. I am obsessed with those. They truly make me cackle like none other. I could not tell you the last time a brain rot meme actually brought me this much joy, and I highly recommend you look it up. Also, another social media thing that's been brought to my attention recently by my wonderful boyfriend is, if you have not seen, please go look at the Brita USA's Instagram page, because it is literally just like a 20-something-year-old dude with a iPhone, CapCut, and a dream. All right, and it is so fucking funny. That is just peak internet humor. I love it. They basically have this like shark who is the like mascot, and he sings these like random songs. And then recently there was like a scandal where somebody like beat him and stole his Brita, and then like he disappeared, and they're like, what happened to the guy with the Brita? And then the green shark has to step in for him. And then there's like this one video where the green shark is like looking for him, and they're like, what is this dude looking for? And he's just looking for the blue shark. And it is so fucking funny. Like, it is CapCut in a dream, I'm telling you. All right. Yeah, other than that, I don't have any yucks this week, you guys. I don't know. I don't have any yucks. I'm trying to think if I have one. There's no books that I read recently that were not hits. Honestly, I'm in the middle of a book, and it is so fucking good. It is going to be probably the best book I read this year. So definitely go check that out. I am doing a reading vlog for it on my vlog channel. Like I said, go check out clips, behind the scenes, stuff like that, all on the socials that are linked down below. I love you guys so much. I hope you guys have an amazing, wonderful day. I'll see you guys next week with another new episode of the Gabby Hour. Bye.